Once again and welcome to Good Morning Uganda. This is GMU Agenda, where we look at an issue of national concern. I'm Robert Chirabonyonitono, your host, and of course Ruben Mpima Kasera Chibirango. We've been together since 6 a.m. and today we are privileged to have two members of Commission into Land Inquiry as our guests that we are going to be discussing this commission. A lot has been spoken, a lot has been said, and of course today in the studios we have Owechitiibwa Robert Sebunya, who is the Senior Presidential Advisor, that is on Uganda Matters.
Yes, please.
He is also a member of, or a commissioner on this commission. I am most welcome in the studios of UBC.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers. We're extremely happy to be here this morning to discuss issues connected with the land. And
on his immediate side, we have Honorable Fred Ruhindi, former Attorney General, member also from a Member of Parliament for Nakawa, and a commissioner on this team. Good morning.
Thank you, Robert. Good morning, viewers.
And to give a background to this, land is one of the historical problems of Uganda. We remember even before our colonial masters came into this country, had this problem. But also before coming into power of the NRM government, one of the rightly stated issues was land. And this is very evident. That is in the 10-point program of NRM. It is point number 8 as one of the issues that the NRM was going to handle. Remember, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, that is on the 8th of December 2016, appointed Honorable Lady Justice Catherine Mgemereire to chair a 7-member commission of inquiry into effectiveness of the law, policy and processes of acquiring land in this country, and also land administration, management as well, and land registration in Uganda. Today, like I said, we are privileged to have these two members of this 7-team commission, and we'll be discussing some of these very issues. Welcome once again to the show.
Thank you.
Well, I'll begin with asking Honorable Ruhindi briefly, what is the commission?
What is the commission?
The Land Inquiry Commission in particular, to be more specific.
Well, this commission of inquiry into land matters was established or formed, created by His Excellency the President in December 2016. But we started work around May 2017. So as we speak, we are about 2 years and about 3 months in office. This commission, as we have ably stated there, is sort out issues to do with the land, because you may recall that the last time there was a commission of inquiry into land matters is about 100 years ago. That was the commission of inquiry set up by the colonial government in about 1924, which actually gave rise to the Usura and the Mvujo law. Since then, of course, we have had a checkered history in land matters, land-related matters. We've had several legislation being put in place. Of course, fundamentally, as far as this government is concerned, the Constitution itself made fundamental changes. The paradigm shift in many provisions of the law. For instance, the fact that land now belongs to the people, which used to be state-owned land in the previous constitutions. And of course, 1995, 1998, then we have the Land Act, the current Land Act. We had fundamental amendments in 2004, 2010. But the most sticky part was what we inherited from the colonialists, the dual ownership of land. That has been very sticky and a constant reminder of those who governed us badly, to say the least. We have been struggling, and I hope that this commission will come out with some serious and firm proposals on how to address the issue of the banja owners vis-a-vis landlords. Of course, we have got so many other challenges as far as this commission is concerned. Of course, it is 8. The terms of reference are principally 8. They are very broad, dealing with the registration, how public offices in the land sector handle their affairs. We have deal with the land fund, wetlands, protected areas, wetlands, forests, forest reserves, game reserves, and so on and so forth. We have very serious matter to do with the dispute resolution. You know, some cases really they grow beards in the courts of law. The gestation period is very long. It takes about 5 to 15 years for a land matter to be resolved. We say, why? What is the challenge? This is why we are interrogating that particular mandate of the judiciary. Not that, of course, we question the decisions of courts of law. Of course, we don't do that. But we ask, why? What challenges do you have?
All right, but to get you more specific on that, when we go to what are the solid roles of this commission? Because we've seen the biggest challenge so far has been this kind of contradictory, not contradictory as such, but where people doubt or undermine the authority. Even so, at one time, authorities, fundamental authorities in this country, maybe looking at, maybe your mandate does not go to that extent. Where is your mandate? Where is your area of jurisdiction?
Well, this is a commission of inquiry. Maybe that's why you asked the question. We are supposed to inquire. Okay. We are supposed to expose. And at the end of the day, we make recommendations. Now, our hope, of course, is that as we do this work, the responsible agencies of government come in, or should come in, where, for instance, a public official has been actually exposed. The relevant agency should pick up from there and have this person handled in accordance with the law. But we have not had that cooperation. Okay. I should also say that yes, you are right. We are not supposed to interfere with the court process. Not at all. As I told you, of course, we interacted with the judiciary, the top leadership of the judiciary, and for instance, we were told that the normal gestation period for a land case, the courts of law, is about 1,000 days, which is about 3 years. Which is about 3 years. But that's average, and that too is long. That too is long. You know, a person, for instance, is evicted on the land. He has nowhere to go. He has no food. He's sick. He has no drugs. You know, ideally, where a decision, for instance, has been given against that particular person, the judiciary would come in normally and tell us, look, why doesn't that person appeal or apply for review? But the person is, as we speak, a destitute. Has no means. How can he actually, for instance, access the appellate process? It's very difficult. That's a challenging point that we have to emphasize. And hopefully, as we go on in this commission, we are going to come out with the solutions on how, for instance, such matters should be handled.
I come to you. We've seen this commission. At first, it had the hype. You know, people were scared. But of late, we are seeing kind of teaming down. People come to the commission that fear, that are biting. The public out there is concerned. Did your mandate change? Did you meet challenges along the way? Were you demoralized? What is happening with the commission?
No, we're not demoralized at all. If anything, we were more empowered to do what we were supposed to do. But let me tell you that before the commission was set up, there were a lot of problems, a lot of complaints, you know, at the land commission, the registration, the surveying, the land fund, compensation. There were a lot of problems. And the president, I think, was hearing all those complaints. And he felt that how shall we effectively bring about a system which would be acceptable and friendly to the people of Uganda. That's why this commission was set up. And I think I'm proud to say that we have done a very good job, a very good job. First of all, people are now aware. People are conscious about their land. If you've got a chibanja, you've got to make sure that you protect it. If you've got a piece of land or a land road, you've got to make sure you protect it. The land grabbing has actually declined. If you compare what was happening before, today the land grabbing, land eviction has also come down.
How do we measure success in terms of land grabbing having reduced? Is this an attribution to the commission?
It is definitely completely success to the commission and the president who appointed this committee. Because a lot of things were not done before the commission was set up. Today it is different. People come out and complain about friends, community, that so and so is taking government land. And they come, they have no fear, which was not the case before. That's what we...
So the commission has created fear?
No. Commission has not created fear.
Commission
has helped to make the Ugandans aware that, A, that is your land, protect it. Resist anything that will make you lose your land. If you were in a chibanja, make sure that the relation between the landlord and the chibanja holder is good. So that awareness was not there before. Throughout the country where we have been able to go, this is what we have been able to find. So it's a great achievement. Apart from that, the Uganda Land Fund, for instance, people have been complaining about Uganda Land Fund. Today, the Commission has been able to save a lot of money. A lot of money. In fact, you can say trillion shillings that the Commission has been able to find and discover that there were wrong payments which were supposed to be done, and we stopped that. So I think the Commission has done a very good job so far.
Finally, when you talk about what the Commission has done, I don't know if Honorable Hindi will also come in here. One of the views of the public is substituting the Commission to next to a court, where people think, if my land has been grabbed, I'll run to the Commission. For clarity purposes, is this one of your mandates, and do you think in this particular area you've delivered justice and served the Ugandans?
No, let me tell you. You see, maybe you should ask the question, why do they run to the Commission and not the courts of law? Simple answer. It's because our methods of work are simplistic and friendly to the population. Why? Because we use an inquisitorial system. Inquisitorial. We have our own investigators. We have our own, we have our lead counsel, we have our investigators. It's an all-embracing kind of system, and it is simple. Why? Because in the courts of law, for instance, the procedures are rigid. They are not friendly to the people. Maybe that's an area. By the way, the judiciary has been addressing that, and they are coming out with guidelines on how to make dispensation of justice in the land sector simpler and friendly. So that in itself makes it more accessible to the people, and they rush there. And and by the way, they get justice in the sense that, you know, for a person even to air out his or her views publicly is medicine in itself.
Yes.
Is medicine in itself, because you know, out there in the court of law, I am a lawyer. I have a lot of respect for the judiciary. But sometimes, for instance, you can take 2 years on a preliminary objection. 1 year on a preliminary objection from a lawyer. You can take for instance, 2 good years without ever hearing the parties, but always there arguing on technicalities. And that's not good. Even our Constitution in Article 126 emphasizes the fact that technicalities should never defeat the interests of justice. Justice should be key. So why do people feel happy with the Commission? Because we thought that as we go on, if we have interfaced with some parties and who feel that the matter should be addressed through mediation, we are very, it's a welcome idea, and we encourage them to do that. And many cases have been resolved. There was a Ginger case where
Movit
had to compensate those people who had been evicted with about 600 million shillings, and the matter was settled. Just to give you a simple example, and many others have been mediated. And to me, that's not a contradiction. That's not, we are not sidelining our terms of reference. We are in fact making them better. Because even in the Constitution, if you look at Article 126, even during the court process, reconciliation is encouraged. And that's a constitutional command. Encourage reconciliation, encourage mediation, whether you are in a court of law, whether you are in a commission of inquiry, encourage it. And it has actually worked very well. But to add on what Wichtiwa is saying, really, the money is really, you know, for instance, we are financially constrained. Would have done better, by the way. We appreciate the challenges government goes into in terms of its budgeting process. But the unfortunate bit is that we have been trying to impress it upon them that this is an ad hoc commission of inquiry. This is a temporary commission of inquiry. You cannot, for instance, subject it to the normal budgeting process of government, that we shall be releasing your money in the next quarter, in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, when we have got a timeline within which to deliver your report. For instance, now, we were scheduled to travel west, Soro, Kabare, West Nile we did. But we can't make it simply because our expected release, we were told to wait for the next quarter. Now the next quarter, that would be taking us into October. Okay? Now we are supposed to be handing in our report by 19th November. You see, those are the challenges we have been facing. But in terms of delivery, as Ochtiwa is saying, where the referendum is out there, and you know it very well, that the people are happy. When they come to the community, the only challenge is, I wish we had enough funds to visit all these places where the over 7,000 complaints are coming from. Because as we speak, we have got 7,067 complaints in the Commission. And the ones we have heard publicly, about half of that. Although we have also done our best to ensure that even those ones we have not actually heard publicly, we have attended to them and have them addressed in one way or another. And we hope that by the close of our term, we shall actually have addressed all. If only we can get the facilitation timely and on time.
Yes.
Well, for me, I'm happy that these gentlemen are here. So many questions have been asked, and I'm glad that they're going to address them. One thing I want to thank you, gentlemen, is actually for standing with the people when it comes to the problem of land. But this goes to Honorable Hindi. What have you cited as one of the major causes of land grabbing in this country? Because you've moved around the country, literally I've done 3/4 of Uganda. Now you know the major cause of land grabbing. What have you cited as a major cause of that, as a team?
I think I will tell you this from my own personal experience.
Yes.
It is greed, or murulu, or mululu. Let me tell you, this is more pronounced in a particular age group and generation. Our youngsters, whether through culture or through, I don't know, 30 to 40 years, 30 to 45 years is a nightmare.
30 to 45 years?
30 to about 40 years is a nightmare. These young people who have just been, we saw a young man who had just finished the university, and during this land fund investigations in Movende, in Chibari, became a billionaire. A young man had just finished, is a surveyor. I don't know whether he's still there. Squeezed over 9 billion shillings from the land fund by getting land irregularly. A freehold, moreover. How do you get a freehold? I don't think there were even tenants, Bibanja owners. He goes to the land fund, claims for money, and gets it.
Who gives the land fund? Who gives that money, Honorable Hind?
The Uganda Land Commission.
There are no investigations?
The Uganda Land Commission, where we have actually been at pains with the Uganda Land Commission. There's no doubt about it.
You need to investigate. That's a lot of money you're giving out.
Yes.
No. So just an individual, yes or HT?
No, Mr. Secretary.
Chivirango. Yes.
That's the very reason why this commission was set up. That's the very reason why the president felt that there is unfairness somewhere. Let us put up this commission. There is, in one of our terms of reference, there's a word effectiveness. We are looking at when you go to Uganda land office, how long does it take you to get a land title? How long does it take you to survey your land?
Yes.
How is the office friendly to you? We went to Ghana.
Maybe just before that, I just want to remind our viewer that you'll be part of this show by calling in. The number to call is on your screen, but also it is 0702 23 24 25. 0702 23 24 25 is the number to call, and you'll be part of this discussion as we look into matters of land. Also, members of the commission. We have 2 commissioners here with us in the studios.
Members, not commissioners. Members of the commission.
But on the commission,
we are commissioners.
They are commissioners of the commission.
We are indeed commissioners.
Yes, they are commissioners on the commission.
So,
on the commission.
So the question put to my colleague, Honorable Hindi, is very good. But we've got to consider and realize that the population is growing, but the land is not elastic. The land is there. What your great-great-grandfather had is what is there.
Okay.
You know? And the children are going to utilize that. Today, the awareness, as we said, this commission has created among the Ugandans, said, no, I must protect my land. So if there is any problem, we will say, no, don't grab my land. So that is the problem we have. The population is growing, land is not enough. And when we went to the north, this is another big problem there. You find, because theirs is customary, you find members of the clan, those who are in a position to pull things.
Yes.
They come to the land office and get land, get registration and survey the land. And then that is about 30 square miles. You know, one would have so many villages. You know, so many villages. And it is there. And it is there.
Yeah.
Then that one would look for an investor there. And that's where the problem is. Imagine, when you have 30 or 20,000 square miles, there must be people on that land. You come and you evict them. Where do they go? They have got children. Their children have got children. Where do you expect them to go?
Nowhere.
Exactly.
And on that one,
Yes.
you cannot even say
Yes.
it is lack of the relevant law.
No.
No, the law is there,
Yes.
even strengthened. Because our constitution, in Article 241, it says a district land board may allocate land which is not owned by anybody or any authority. That is re-emphasized in Section 59 of our Land Act. But even strengthened in the amendment of 2010 to the effect that should you district land board, assisted by those land committees, allocate land which is owned by someone like those customary owners, which he was talking about, then that title issued is void and null, or null and void, as the lawyers always say. And I'm actually saying this so that the public out there knows that should you be on land and the district land board gives a title to someone else, you have a better claim on that land than that titled person.
Well, our viewer, just a reminder, you can now call in and be part of the program. The number is 0702 23 24 25. Please make sure. Okay. Well, we lost that one. But please be away from your TV set or reduce the volume, and then we'll be able to hear you very loud and clear and ask a question.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Your name and where you're calling from?
Moses Kaziba,
Yes, Moses Kaziba.
calling from Unguya in Nakawa.
Yes.
In fact, the Commission has done a great job
Thank you.
because the escalation of land eviction has indeed reduced. But where the problem is, there is no law which says people should not be evicted. We need to agree. It's clear. When someone goes to court and the court decides it issues an order, you will be evicted. But the question is, do these judges, these magistrates, go to the locus? Do they go to the site? That is the way another problem is. Another thing, is there anyone with the right to contest the order? You know, at times even we blame police, but once a lawyer, some lawyers deals with the magistrates or the judges. Because of the they have a system. If you are not satisfied, you appeal, which is a wrong process. So the police will find themselves in the corner when the order is out. They will evict you. That is why I have asked you, as a person, that this National Land Commission, the Land Commission, we need to turn it to be a national tribunal. Instead of saying that they have finished their work, to go, because we have a problem with the law. So if it becomes a national land tribunal, so that even if a court order is issued, should be taken there to approve it before it is effective. That one will assist, Uganda will assist us. But lastly, some of the investigators have not done a good job, because my complaint is the land inquiry number 1868 of 2017, Busesa land, where the headquarters is. Mine is not, was not tapped. I have not got any information, and I think because I found there one of my clansmen, it's people they went those people and they have done something against my complaint. But as a fact,
okay, thank you, Moses. We've gotten your point. Thank you so much. We've gotten your point. We'll have to also give room to another caller. Well, that is Kaziba. He says you've done a.
Why don't we first respond to that?
It's okay.
It's okay.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Moses. Mr. Moses Kaziba from Nakawa. First of all, I want to inform you that our commission these days we put in place a monitoring unit to attend to clients who have put in their complaints, who want to know the update, want to get the update. So I encourage you, Moses, to come to the commission. If you wish, you may even get me. I will lead you to that monitoring unit so that we can actually get an update on the issue you are raising on your complaint. Secondly, I am happy to inform you that even, and this is also a tribute to the commission, because as we speak, the judiciary, I think, has finalized, or is about to finalize eviction guidelines, which certainly are just what he's talking about. For instance, going to the site where you're hearing a land case, that has been actually the standing provision in the guidelines of the judiciary. But sometimes they complain that they don't have the resources to effect that mechanism of always going to the site. But I believe with what is actually unfolding in the commission and in the public, the government will facilitate them better, and they themselves will actually do the needful in going to the site.
Can I add on something to what my colleague is saying?
Yeah.
The eviction. The commission has been able to find out and discover that the court bailiffs have done a mess. First of all, they sometimes get eviction orders from magistrates, and they don't follow whether the value of the property, yes, they should go to either to a high court or to a magistrate down. That's one. Secondly, when they get orders, they go to the police, you know, and the police is also questionable. They sometimes go to evict people at night. Yeah.
What?
Yes, at
illegal.
night, which is illegal.
With the police?
Yes. They sometimes go on Saturday.
They raise your
You
home
know?
to the ground
Yes.
when you are there sleeping.
When you are still sleeping. You know, so all these we've been able to find out, and we have you know, discussed these issues with the judiciary, that this is happening. Now, the judiciary must be in a position, or maybe something must be done to ensure that the court bailiffs are not a menace to the community.
Okay, we'll take another caller. We have someone online. Hello? Hello, you're live on UBC. Your name and where you're calling from. Well, we are not getting you. Clearly, could you increase, maybe move away from your TV set or reduce its volume?
Hello?
Yes, we are getting you now.
Hello?
Yes, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Richard. I'm calling from Entebbe.
Yes, Richard from Entebbe.
Yes. I wish to thank the members of the panel and the commissioners for a job well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But one of our biggest challenges is that they are the big guns, the guys who claim to have more authority than the systems. You hear of this case of Abid Alam in Muvende. Even up to today, evictions are still going on. The other day on TV, they showed an army truck still guarding a bulldozer which is supposed to be doing work. The question is, who owns that land that Abid appears to be working on? Why is there a lot of protection against people who are illegally evicting people? Because unless something is done about it, these evictions will never end. There are people who are above the law. Let there be a stringent law. I think in those days, long time ago, Mr. Sevonia could maybe be aware of this thing. The colonialists had put there very stringent punitive measures. If you just wake up one morning and go and slash somebody's matoke and everything, the price you pay is so dear that even you may lose the very land that you are trying to evict. This tenant form or a squatter. Now, when you start having laws which don't protect people or that allow people to do illegal acts, and you don't penalize them severely, today Abid, he was stopped by the same commission. He's still doing what he's doing. What the commission should do, it should be on record. That land is now forfeited because you are not listening. It will be a lesson for any other people who overrule a commission, because this commission was established for a good reason. And an investor is coming in, he's doing what he wants, he doesn't care.
Thank you very much, Richard from Entebbe. Thank you so much. Your point has been driven home, and I would love to give the gentlemen in the studios, the commissioners on the commission, to respond. The big shots. Actually, even we remember Lady Justice Catherine Megmerere, one time was it in Lugazi where she said, yes, there are some names that of course we know, usual names, the usual suspects into this business, the untouchables, those that think they are above the law.
Well, at the end of the day, I believe that the Commission shall come out with recommendations that will protect the people against the mighty. Of course, for instance, if you mention the case of Mr. Abid Alam, I must say that in Mubende, that matter is still under investigation, and even recently, the anti-corruption unit, presidential anti-corruption unit, has also gotten concerned about that matter and is also doing its part of its investigation. I think by the end of the day, we shall compare notes and make appropriate recommendation as far as that land is concerned. But one thing that he raises, I'm a lawyer. I was Attorney General. I'm a senior counsel. I was head of the bar. I respect the judiciary. But there is one thing that disturbs me too. If I may ask any one of you who may have known of any case where a poor person with the land matter has won a case in the courts of law. I wish you could share it with me. I wish you could share it with me. And this is a challenge. What happens? What happens? And I'm not actually talking about the judiciary alone, because we are talking about a chain-linked process. Judiciary does not work alone. It's fed by state attorneys. It's fed by lawyers in the public. It's fed by so many other surveyors. I don't want to share with you. I am reluctant to share with you some information where a senior land surveyor went to court and gave evidence in favor of the land grabber to take a forest reserve. To take a forest reserve. Well, that matter is still under investigation. Forest reserve. By the way, and look here, in 40 years' time, if the forest cover is depleted at the level at which it is depleted, in 40 years' time you will be having no tree in Uganda. And you know what that will actually entail.
Well, let's speak.
But let me conclude here, let me conclude here, Robert. So I wanted to conclude by saying that all the stakeholders, this is not actually the commission per se. The commission is supposed to be fed with information, with knowledge, so that at the end of the day, how do we actually create justice, achieve justice in the land sector that caters for everyone, the poor person that Richard is talking about, the rich person, so that everybody is happy on this land of ours. Because let me tell you, our land is the heart and soul of our community.
Honorable, allow me to pick another caller online.
Something.
Yes, we'll get back to you, Wechitiba. Let's just take this caller. Hello. Oh, sorry, we've lost him. But it is very evident, Wechitiba, before you come in, as we get another online. One thing is the public feels the commission should do much more than what it's doing now. Should have more powers than what it has now.
Well, I mean, you better go and amend the instrument that puts us in place.
That created us, yes.
We don't have those powers. Yes. We are an investigative commission of inquiry, which at the end of the day puts in recommendations. In fact,
how have your recommendations been?
We have been very innovative to see that we have actually come out with some measures which we take during our hearings. Those are creative, but within the law. Within the law. But we don't have, for instance, powers per se to make decisions. We don't have powers to declare rights, that you are right, you are wrong. We can only make a recommendation at the end of the day. By the way, we put in our interim report.
Let's pick a caller. Hello, caller. Hello. Your name and where you're calling from. Hello. Well, I think we lost that one. Yes, or which
I was just going to add to what my colleague said. And I want the public to really come to us. First of all, he talked about wetlands, talked about forest reserve. These are managed at the district level by the district, and at the sub-county level by area land committee. Now, those committees, we want to find out, let the public tell us, are they effective? They have done a lot of harm by way of giving away wetlands, even giving away National Forest Reserve. That is the work done by, so we want to find out, as part of our investigation, should we continue with the local
committees and boards,
or we should come out with something else that can ensure that the wetland is protected, that the forest reserve is also protected. Yeah. Because some of the terms of reference we have is to ensure that the forest reserves, the wetlands, is protected.
Okay.
Many say that Land Commission of Inquiry has failed to address the real problem. Land grabbing is fueled by government officials and the army, and there's too much disrespect within government officials. I'll give you an example. Honorable Kutana Mwesigwa said, "Go report me to God. What can you do? Go and hug." So how do you handle such government officials who are involved in land grabbing? This goes to Honorable Hind.
Then my colleague here answers that.
Let me tell you, your answer is as good as mine.
Yeah.
Okay? We don't work in a vacuum. We work in a state, work in a government with relevant stakeholders, with relevant authorities. If, for instance, an official becomes disrespectful of the commission, there are some other measures to be taken. There is the appointing authority who appoints the commission and who appoints ministers. And that becomes now his mandate. And don't ask me how he's going to address that matter. If you want, you can go and ask him how he's going to address that matter.
Let me pick a caller. Hello.
We can only operate within our mandate.
Robin,
I don't know which order you're talking about, because
what the commission achieved as a result of the way the minister behaved is that the public knew why. Why did he come to the commission? There was a cause, there was a reason. We were asking him about certain payments. Government payments, which he authorized, which he authorized.
Yes.
So, okay, he may have behaved like that, but then what we achieved as a commission,
You scored in one way.
it was scored
Allow
a
me to
lot
take a caller.
because the general public knew that no, the minister is wrong.
I must speak. Hello, caller.
Sorry.
Hello. Hello. Okay. We'll continue. Hello. Yes, please.
Hello.
You're live on UBC TV.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
My name is Mwasi Mumuza.
Come again?
Yes, my name is Mwasi Mumuza. I'm calling from Kono.
Yes.
Yes, I'm calling Mumuza from Kono.
Go ahead, Mumza from Mukono.
Hello?
We are getting you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm saying the Commission of Inquiry has done a good work.
Thank you.
But the fact is, a poor man has not been helped at all. The poor man is still suffering. The Commission is only helping those people who are having acres and acres of land. Somebody who has a small piece of land cannot get a true justice. I want to appreciate the Commission for the work that they have done. At least they have exposed the land grabs. And I'm sure if they can keep on that spirit, our country will move on. But my question is, those people like those who are in there's a certain lady who was in Muvende who evicted people are still crying. The another incident in Kabari, and also in Mukono. So I kindly request the Commission to reach down to us and not to get a fair judgment.
Okay.
That is my submission. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Muhumuza. Well, that is Muhumuza saying he appreciates the work of the committee, but still says some of the issues they start but they don't come to a conclusion.
No, I think that's not what he says. I think what he's actually talking about is he talks about exposure.
Let me just watch that. Let's get also this final call. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, you're live on UBC. Your name and where you're calling from. Your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Ubucho in Barara district.
Okay, from Barara, yes.
What's the name of it again? What's your name once again?
I'm called the government from Barara district.
Okay, from Bara district. Go ahead. Go ahead with your question.
Hello?
Go ahead with your question, sir.
I am called the government from Barara district.
Okay.
I would like to thank the commission for the work done.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank the government I want to thank the commission for the work done.
Okay.
Yes, but we are having a problem. Where you find an MP, where the MP has to, he buys off the people in the village, the whole party buys it off. So it is very, very dangerous how MP buying off the whole thing. Even if he's giving them the money, that's bad. Can you imagine somebody buys the local people? Now these local people drink the money. Now that's also a new form of land grabbing. Somebody buys the local people, all of them, the whole village, buys them off. When you go to Wangara, you find the MP buying all the people. Even if
maybe to get you clear.
People end up going somewhere and they are coming back.
Caller from Bara, gentleman, just to get you clearly.
That's also another form of land eviction. Even if somebody gives them money, that's very, very dangerous.
Is it?
Mr. Zid, what we must understand also, when you are making your recommendation, we are saying, when you are making your recommendation, you should also consider these local, the poor people who will not go to high court. Because if you have a land matter and it goes to high court, very, very, you cannot afford it. So we are saying that you should also, in your recommendation, you recommend these local people should also have lawyers. Maybe government should buy them lawyers, provide them with lawyers. That's when they go. Because they can cut this, they can cut Mr. And lastly, we thank you very much. But we are saying, the most what we have done is exposure. We have exposed the big people. We have exposed the problem. People now understand. But the problem is, will this at the one time here down with the high command, the president put it into action. Oh, they are going to do this good job, and it will bring it good. So I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, our caller from Bara there. He raised a number of issues. One was where you have a member of parliament or a rich person who can buy the entire village, but didn't specify if it is illegal or well done. But let's first speak one last caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, you're live on UBC TV, but turn down the volume of your set, please.
From Nakawa.
Turn down your volume, your TV set volume.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, I'm called Chomotai from Nakawa.
Yes, from Nakawa.
I would like to appreciate Mr. Frederick Rohindi for all the effort he has put in to expose these land grabbers in the country. But now I'm just requesting the president and the state to add more security on Mr. Rohindi for his safety. Because, you know, those mafias are also very tactful. They might target his life. And then we are also requesting the government also add a very big mandate on these people to punish those people that are involved in all the land scandals. Those people are untouchable, fine, they are exposed at the end of the day, but we are waiting for the action one day to be taken on those people.
Okay, thank you so much.
Very much.
From Nakawa, where we hold the calls at that, and we have our guests in the studios.
Security. The caller says from Nakawa that he's not secure. I mean, he has really gone deep to get those criminal, those wrong elements. But how safe are you, Honorable Hindi? Just assure him that you are safe and okay.
I want to thank my friend from Nakawa for his concern on my security. I want to assure you that I am very secure. Yes. Thank you so much for the concern. Now, I think there is a gentleman
from Barara.
let's start from this other one, who was talking about we expose, but who?
Okay, from
what happens after the exposure?
Muhumuza from
Yes, you see, this is our expectation too. We are not working alone. We are a commission of inquiry into land matters. There are many players in the land sector. There is a whole ministry of lands. There is a whole ministry of water and environment. There is a whole ministry in charge of wildlife, game reserves. So we expect that as we expose, relevant agencies pick up from there and do the needful.
Have they picked up from there?
We hope they do. What can I say? We hope they do. And that's actually, I need to emphasize that. Because even this issue of you make reports, they are put in the shelves, they are never implemented.
put aside.
But let me tell you, this work is not in vain. Even if the implementation is not urgent, one day a responsible person with Uganda.Part will remember that there was a Justice Catherine Bamagemerere Commission. What did they do? Let's look at what they did. And those good points that we will make and we have made will come out and be implemented. It's not in vain. You get my point? So everyone, in my opinion, should be concerned. Because when that person talks about a poor person, I've told you, me in the recent times, I have asked myself, have I heard of any poor person winning a land case in the courts of law? Or getting justice in the offices where they go? Registration of titles. Surveyors.
People walk there for
actually,
so
the
many
greatest
years.
problem is that the district land board, area land committees, and surveyors. People, these surveyors sit in their offices and survey your land without even reaching there. You find you have got something on title, on the paper, and something different on the ground. They are doing us harm. Do you know why? One of the reasons? There is no regulatory framework for surveyors as we speak. And it's being proposed, and I think the ministry is handling that too.
Okay.
But the earlier they come out with a regulatory framework to regulate surveyors, the earlier the better.
Oweekitiibwa Sebunya, one of the callers, that is from Bala, talked about a member of parliament buying the entire village. And these are poor people. You buy them off, but he didn't specify if willingly, but I think it was willingly buying them off. But you should make one of the recommendations, at least to limit such acts. What is your take on this?
I think the most important thing to recognize here, willing buyer, willing seller, is okay. It's a good idea. But then, whoever buys must ensure that he follows the law. He must ensure that the law is followed. I mean that valuation should be done for a particular Chibanja holder there and let them be compensated. But the problem is they don't do that. And unfortunately, even the people themselves are not aware of their own rights. We've been all around and you tell them and said, oh, is that possible? I said, yes, it's possible. And I always tell them there is in the Uganda Constitution, there is a resistance. There's that provision. You've got to resist.
How would you want such people to resist when some of the land grabbers have guns,
No.
some have security personnel
Robert,
guarding the properties?
there is